Shalom, shalom, Akim, I'm Brother Malawan from GMS Suriname, coming back with another quick lesson. Before I start with this lesson, I want to give all praise and honors to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rachor, Shalom. We lift the bars of the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and the glory of the bars and much love and salutations to the brothers out there that teach work and truth and sincerity. Shalom. This is another war update on Israel, Iran, North Korea, and America, and the flotilla. This is another war update. I'm gonna switch over to Suriname language and we're gonna watch a couple of videos and react to them according to the scriptures, man. Oh yeah, by the way, this is fair use to any of the videos that I will play, any of the content that I will display. This strictly for educational purposes. This will give me no monetary gain. I will make no money off of it. This is strictly for educational purposes. Shalom, shalom, brother. Nagasabi na malaman for GMS Suriname. And this is a bit of this now one war update is a bit of for Middle East is a bit of war update for Iran, Israel is a bit of America, na North Korea is a bit of na aflotela grupa fu de boto sabi ko Middle East dape is a bit of this now war update is a bit of who fair is a dar who hatad dar is a bit of ko bigilo ko de video.
Israel has announced it will take military action against the global Sumud flotilla. Israel states that if the flotilla attempts to break the blockade, the individuals aboard the vessels will be detained and the ships seized. At the same time, Israel offered the flotilla's leadership an alternative. If the flotilla redirects to the Israeli port of Ashkelon and delivers humanitarian aid to Gaza from there, facilitation could be provided. When that option is rejected, Israel says its commandos have already been ready to deal with the flotilla. An emergency status has been declared in hospitals. According to reports, the flotilla's leader has rejected the proposal and insists on proceeding directly to Gaza instead of docking at Ashkelon. You should know that the flotilla includes over 500 people from 40 countries who are carrying humanitarian assistance, particularly medical supplies for Palestinians in Gaza. The flotilla is currently 3 days away from Gaza, and with each passing moment, the dangers facing it are increasing.
Okay, here's the video this. Aflotela na gewoon gruba fu boto. Isabito omin bigi boto. Isabito na internationale samenwerking tussen 40 verschillende kondre. Isabito 40 verschillende kondre kwamen kadra. Isabito de mantak patak. Isabito nos onulubatori safe sa darape in Israel. Na Iran isabito onuluba model dapet. Isabito. Dus uno isabito imal wishi pantak a kondre Gaza drape de manya ay furo. Omen people de darapan Israel espa de maf Gaza. Israel nespan nga de kondre mafu de smap Gaza. Israel nespan. Zolang ane mayere fantak wis na wan kodo komando kibirija in wa hugonute. Israel is saksi a heru hugonute na fifi barkis ma ine ho. De ma abi letterlijk de ma abi kako. De ma nespan. De ma nespan. Isabito. De ma kiris ma verdwaal. Tot een bepaalde video na gewoon blendjes je gewoon fantak na een civilian isabito mga kung gruba fus mas ay wakangas ani jerigen isabito na nga watala kung wawa mesele fanong panya alamala Israel ne spang isabito dus da de 40 continentes de kwa makandara de ma fantak no lukuna wo support Gaza isabito wo char dresi sane gide bang ay wo char nyang gide bang isabito wo char balangarek san gide bang make them survive isabito and Israel no fin fantak no asa ne oro koso isabito wins ano mi kondre drape ma if you want yep de ma im confia mi isabito en afloat la a grupa fu de boto ja fen fata no da hoeft het niet fa ik bedoel mi mus go via you da you na via di fu de man da you so uno ba da you na gewoon blend je keer de ma gewoon da uno mus gi you de san fu you gi des ma da no gi de to if je keer des ma gewoon krindi yo gi des madresi if je keer des ma krindi yo gi des madresi. Dus dan no afloat de ma afloat la de 40 kondre fen no van tak no uno do asanati. Isa bito beter uga gugo rechtstreeks gua Gaza. Da we gides ma gewoon des ansa des ma afano di sabito. Mi na ama fu afloat la you na ama sabe fano de en mi kijk ik geef jou blam. Mi na go no via san. Vooral if na via you enemy. You enemy no why je puto. Dat de ma sabe en dat make de ma no roko na Israel. Ma fu di de ma no roko. Da ko luko sa Israel do ani ma fen fantak no san fromo fa no giwa asan da yo e bombarder de ma ho da mi ko gi asan no asan no ko do fia asan de gir des ma krinde da mi ko gi yo de san i mi ko gi yo de resi fu yo dres de man da yo e kir de ma dri krinde da ane klopto isabito en fu de ma fa fu aflo tala no be wani ko luko sa Israel do.
Guys, it's happening again, and people are furious. Protests in several cities around the world have broken out after Israel intercepted the flotilla trying to bring aid to Gaza. And many of the activists on board, including Greta Thunberg and Nelson Mandela's grandson, have been detained. Israel are now planning to deport them back home, saying in a post they are all safe and in good health. But because they intercepted the flotilla while they were in international waters, many are calling this a violation of international law. 13 boats were intercepted with the use of water cannons, cutting off their communication, and one was even rammed. Roughly 200 activists on board were detained, but as of recording, around 30 boats remain and are still heading towards Gaza. As expected, this has triggered a huge global reaction, especially since the flotilla's only stated mission was to peacefully deliver aid to the people in Gaza. And the public have taken to the streets in several cities, including Brussels, Athens, Buenos Aires, Berlin, and most prominently, Rome, and many other Italian cities, where the crowds chanted, "Let's block everything." Now, Israel claimed they warned the flotilla to turn back multiple times. They also said that they are happy to transfer any aid from the flotilla to Gaza themselves. As always, let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments, and I'll keep you guys updated.
Wera to. Dus dan nou Israel intercept de boto. Isabito. Want Israel fin fanda ke de amus dry baka. De fade amus dry baka. Dus je want tegen me Israel le kwa wa zogenaamd kondre. Want feitelijk maar kon a groot tap sa de maar de na voeren de maar voering. Het is niet oprecht van hun. Isabito de maar voeren. Lek fade de wet maar voeren Amerikanen op de ingi. Isabito se modelo feitelijk Israel dan Jerusalem. Naf kunu. Naf de blaka man nga de ingi maar de maar voering. Lek fade voera grom de ingi de in Amerika. En no Israel lek zo op chikondre. Dit is barki yari e basta. Israel lek zo op chikondre. Isabito over fonds me dit is to so yari. Lek zo op chikondre. Want kotegi aflotela. Isabito. Sana wa verzameling na samenwerking voor 40 verschillende kondre. Want dan nou uno want dat je moest ko je Gaza. Isabito. En if you kon toch uno intercept you and we take the business for you. Isabito. If you know and we fear uno na imgwe baka. Sana sandat. En voor die asanda tipsa. Omes mata bakro tapu. En kuin uproar. Isabito. De people na lobatori. Wana feitelijk da Israel wa ko play bully desma. Isabito wana ufon ne tra kondre no ufon dag no ye wan play bigi pawangi nama. Isabito. En omes mano lopso. Omens mano lopso. Wan ano tak aflo tela go da pen nga bigi bomb nga akasim na perta. Fusut Israel panya. Nee. Dresi na nga nyang de machago. Gide people sabi abe fanudu drapi in Gaza. Toch Israel horen gide. Toch Israel no bewani. And that make many people no love atori. They go in the big protest. Isabito. Many people no love atori. Isabito. Basan di baka.
But as of recording, around 30 boats remain and are still heading towards Gaza. As expected, this has triggered a huge global reaction, especially since the flotilla's only stated mission was to peacefully deliver aid to the people in Gaza. And the public have taken to the streets in several cities, including Brussels, Athens, Buenos Aires, Berlin, and most prominently, Rome, and many other Italian cities where the
Yeshito. Many people go astrati direct wata sandat no ka. Ina kami si food aflotela to. Na fuchara aid to. Peacefully go a Gaza. De fanodo sana de machago peacefully. Manakon Israel ko buruya a model. Fin fan ang no asando kan. Faye bodula sando kan de so. Isabito. Manasan si meg midday ko scripture direct go ini direct. Isabito. Ko bigi kapa erst afu fu de video. Una moy update jawa war update. A erst nga if me abibo. Update na apocrypha. Chapter 3 verse 8. No. Salakia. If bear with me. Bear with me. Ja, ik Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 8. Isabi ito, muli sa eerste piece this, na muli sa last piece. Kau sorry persis in so thank with it. Both Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Isabi, alasan apa season. Isabi to, ang klimater ekwa nga season. Het is niet voor altijd zomer, het is voor altijd winter. En alle voor altijd, ang zon schijnt voor altijd. Alles komt met een seizoen. Alasan apa ting. Asan ano dating altijd, asan ano neti altijd. Isabi to, asan ano mate altijd. Alles heeft een seizoen en een tijd. Zo ook toe. Desan sa di people ito tapagron tapo ng afas pa di people operer. Isabi to, je hebt wat denk bij de people only be in freedom. Je had zo'n tijd hebben. Maar baka dat je op wat denk bij de people war. Isabi to. Muli sa baka the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Nabo jump on 8. A time to love, a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And if I be one time of peace, me no mo make one war update. Isabi to. Wana or siya war no. Ko ano ko di si fagron tapo ite madapi na mino usa sane saksi sane supanya. Isabi to. Ko ano ko nja ete. Madrape na o siya sane hit trape. Isabi to. No de udi inwate for war. Isabi to. Manaw go in second Ezra's direct to. Kwada sa sani megdape. Sa Israel megdrape. Atregar the people. Isabi to. And for the trigger the people. So the people do. The people do this. So Ezra chapter 3 verse 9. Therefore when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. The people go astray at dinag the bikini kay pandakasanis no kang. Des you want to imita ki wakir des ma hon green di hon and uno makyep des ma. Sana normal that. Dus iwan keer des maar gewoon en voor die iwan je hebt des maar dat je zijn nog weer pakken. Je kon rest uno. Is een beetje als aan dat kanto. Om in people so de people le free. Om in people so de people le free. Is een beetje. Maar onlek bribi wang. Fa uno e denki. Sa uno e shi. Uno e shi disi. This is the book of 2 Ezra chapter 9. Verse 4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Uno na so denk. Asan is beskriving ba? Askriving na buku to. Na lis melisen purut. Asan is beskriving ba? Na so uno edeki. Te uno eshides anis uno ebridi. Rida waram omdat het skriving ba. Fosa mep sa ubeliseng ba fataki yasan is ente obigi shani siasa ni sabi ina amor yang well no wish na ngau ai. Kride wish na ngau ai fatak I wer ko boy de word of amori wan leyo. Letterlijk. Low fasi de people protest no. People na for protest more. The people na for low fasi de protest. Isabito. Low fasi. Isabito. Mana walo ko de video ko doro. Logo in the transcription.
Okay, guys,
This is bad news for Israel. North Korea is now saying if they do not stop the war in Gaza, they will intervene and save the Palestinians. Kim Jong-un was making an address to his assembly recently whenever he said that the support for Iran and the Palestinians will never waver, and that Israel is a, quote, cancer-like entity in the Middle East disrupting peace. Now, Kim Jong-un is also saying that they are helping supply Iran with the nuclear energy, nuclear programs, nuclear blueprints, and even if they want to help them create a nuclear weapon. North Korea also does not recognize Israel. There's not even limited recognition of Israel. They see the entire government as war criminals on stolen land. They do recognize the Palestinian state, and unlike a lot of people, they recognize the entire land of current-day Israel as Palestine, meaning every IDF soldier and every Israeli politician to them is on occupied and stolen land against international law. Follow me for updates.
Wejado ito. Dus dan no North Korea jopo kong North Korea jumbo ko fatak inos is no kang isabito no demande tija isani Israel. Isabito fin panag demo o yep the Palestinians juist. De man ba a model van Israël roko na Gaza, want het is onterecht. Het is onterecht. Volgens ome pondre tapa grond tapo asan sa Israël duto. Het is onterecht. No fudi ome kondre kama kandra. 40 kondre in totaal. Fusukuf yep Gaza. Daiwan ko arresteers ma. Doya mix ma edeweri to. Doya mix ma edeweri. No Kim Jong-un isabito edema ko North Korea kontak matak. Ino. Uno o yep Gaza. Uno o yep Iran isabito. Wiz de na wa atombom de ma meki. Uno o gide de de stoffel. Uno o sor de ma fan. Alasan mo yep de ma fu meke dan. Wan asan fu Israel no kan. Isabito asan no kan. En so e shi. Tak a prophecy etaki. Chim. Door low sani. Wam kiflo de la wam to boto. Hier North Korea har ba. The man they no engage in a war drape. Don't the man be up next to maka. No, the man they engage in a war drape. That the man put anu ba. But the man ye patra parte for make atom bomb. Da usap ufara o deto. Da usap ufara aturi de wan atom bomb na wasan sa stone wire war ditek. Atom bomb na last fayetake. Na last stop. Isabit bakadat sa no maset mo. Di wan atom bomb fanon to. Akonde insa fanon ilas automatis. Fire faith God. Dahil kung din fino ang wasteland, inoma. Atumom na last stop. And North Korea job kung din na inoyem de mame ka atumom masanis no ka. This is sorry fantak as prophecy neli. Chip chito. Ala de kondre o harko ina Middle East. Ala de kondre o ano ina Middle East. Ala de kondre. Isabito. The Holy Scripture that direct. So she fantak prophecy neli. Gabi quando in a book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 2. Mulis man in the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, Isabito, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem in the day, pe uno odin katibo baka. Wan odin katibo baka to. Eers ubenin katibo in Egypt. No odin katibo baka. Ja. Fau konya. Wan ume people na gyawa seni en slavery ma huse wan ayir hukuma. Na in cruise ship ukonya. Na in Suriname Airways ukonya. First class. Of na in slave boat. Uno konya koko abschuite. Was a slave na ayir hukuma. For in behold, for in those days and in that time when I shall bring again baka, when I shall bring again what over in Egypt ba in slavery. When I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Yes, ito. Na attendees. What was in where in slavery. Ugmo in Egypt and teja ko in slavery baka. Isabito. Verse 3. I will also gather all nations. All the nations over Samuel. Mapedago, and I will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and that volgens a Babel na a Midden-Oosten, a heer Midden-Oosten drape, Isabito, that na a valley of Jehoshaphat, a Midden-Oosten, and sada do dape, sa opsanga rin dape, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel. Drape amoro iwang, o deal na nga nala de chip nation disi. Isabito, fudi de sansa ni mando na ako. Tapi amoro hiwa hotel na natin. Makomlise, may kusref lise. May kusref first time. and I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and ported my land. De mano prato potap ala de konde faguro tapo. On sana ano uno o umuderlande ya. England na in Jerusalem, umbevde in Israel, umbevde. Manono de nanda de small head de drape. What King Jong-un sirif tak man tak amane erken de Alexani, like the rightful owner for a country tape. What like for the America, for America drape for the engi. Piso de panat for Israel na Jerusalem for uno isabito. And that the country sabi that beg de mameka isprak. Tal de mane herken de malek one nation drape. Na for de ma for a country. Kuwak yung kakademi mimiko yere baka.
This is bad news for Israel. Peace. Now, Kim Jong-un is also saying that they are helping supply Iran with the nuclear energy, nuclear programs, nuclear blueprints, and even if they want to help them, Israel. There's not even limited recognition of Israel. They see the entire government as
Vanaf 40.
recognition of Israel. They see the entire government as war criminals on stolen land. They do recognize the Palestinian state and
The money herken de Israel srif like one government. The money she like war criminals pay on stolen land. For them a for a president. Nati de ma ko play bigi po agi de chiko de dape. Well samori odu. Kom lese bakagur. Kom lese bakagur. I will also gather all nations. Like no de a gather North Korea ba? North Korea ap ano inafayag ba no de? De ma apwa ano ina play. No de North Korea de engaged ba? Isabito, if no Israel saksi here Iran, North Korea firma fasi. Isabito. If no lugbo North Korea senso dati fu fet ki Iran serefi. Isabito. Verse 3, Joel chapter 3 verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among all nations and ported my land. Yeshito, de parat agro fama to, de parat Israel terapito, paratin ng Palestina duwalo sutsan, kune kot agro, isabito, and fuasang that amoroiwa o roko ng ademang, isabito, fuasang that, makulok ko de video ko do. Moro de.
breaking news, as of last night, Iran has started using the cluster bomb, one of the most unstoppable and deadly weapons that they possess. As you see, it comes in with one big rocket, and as it gets through the atmosphere, it scatters up and explodes into many different fragments. Technically, this weapon is illegal and not allowed to be used, but multiple militaries use it anyway, such as Israel, Iran, Russia, and Ukraine. The US, who proposed this ban, also possesses it and created the weapon, and Iran using this is very destructive for Tel Aviv, which is why we're seeing cities like Tel Aviv and Haifa being absolutely destroyed, also because the Israelis simply cannot stop these missiles, even though they thought they could, because the Iranians have upwards of 30,000 missiles, a lot more than the Netanyahu idea of Iran only having around 2,000. Also tonight, Iran is expected to fire off 400 ballistic missiles. A lot of these will be cluster bombs, and they will be shattering through the Tel Aviv air defenses, which are already running low. So low that Netanyahu has already proposed buying more Patriot air defense systems, something that the Israeli economy really can't use right now. And make sure to follow me.
Yes, ito. There's no de Iran break kwanta sword bomb pusak si Israel. Isabi tayo, if you forget inuam de fora kalaksan besorik mapadang Netanyahu de masabi.
Have you heard about
Breaking news, Israel is jamming GPS across the country, and Netanyahu and other high government officials have fled to Greece in preparation for a massive Iranian retaliatory strike tonight on Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Iranian television is reporting that nearly 1,000 ballistic missiles will be launched at Israel tonight. We saw last night that David's Sling and the Iron Dome defense system have failed to stop the missiles. Tonight will be a very bad night for Tel Aviv, and it is worth noting that Netanyahu and all the government officials have fled to Greece. He released a video on his Twitter moments ago, speaking, encouraging the Israeli people for courage, whenever he himself is not even in his own country. Netanyahu is a coward, and his actions are putting the lives of innocent babies, women, and men in Israel. Civilians that have...
And this na akafollow thing. They man bigi ka break a
Breaking
bomb.
news as of...
They man bigi ka break a bomb this. Nakulo ko follow no.
Two oceans in between us, and away for shore is a gate I see. There's a way for me. Now this one sits here and whispers things to me. Now I got the devil inside. This one made a pig of me. This wall is primal, my grinding jaw, the headache pill, the necktie on my bedroom door, my conscience burning, my eyes are too cuddled up with a heart condemned. I should love you, and I swear I do.
Weshito. This na akafollow thing. Kulo ko ito mo. Weshito. This na the sun sa EPSA in one thing for war. Isabito. This na the sun sa EPSA. Isabito. In one thing for war no one. Dapat siya alala human nature. Isabito. And you siya nature for ala de perskela the Nazis. No de siya for the wetma. Isabito. Lala. When Netanyahu na nga de small let's fit na pinapit ma. Na de moro lagi nation for the wetma. Isabito. De moro vile wang de moro dot wang. Isabito. And all na expose them, I expose. Ayan ko na tapo know fa dem from. Faya po tun iwa giles ma. And to wang giles ma dire sa ngalisi da de iwa ko arestero. No karbi ka na tapo ko inyo ko andere. Of ko the national water for you. O din international water. And titrape ko arestero. No, she want this man is mo suffer yo. No one yapi this man no pabinawan next. Nan lala expose the wet ma. Isabito lala expose fa de mande. Fa de ma worried. Oh, she nema worried. Isabito. Come listen to our last scripture. Go to the book of Jeremiah chapter 13 verse 26. So come Jeremiah chapter 13 verse 26. Therefore I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, that thy shame may appear. This nagidawit mang ultimately ki Babylon, Amerika. Isabi to, mang Israel na chibrada Babylon. Isabi to, manawit mga to. Isabi to, Amerika na ko ni mga bijibrada. May kalas sa safe sa. Di may gusto ko po na Amerika. Di may weapon fanudo, di may gusto ko po na Amerika. Di ba support na money fund na may gusto ko support na Amerika. Arasan na may gusto ko support. Isabi to. The last day may kwentes ko sila ng Amerika. American sila so na pa no sa ilo. Ibig dem may shuwa fa siyo. Fa wait so yo. Isabi to. Imuro ko sa nga kotuan deal na nga Iran. Wanda trombe wanito. Go look at video. Go look at video. But I'm dead.
Okay, guys, major breaking news. There has just been a mass stabbing at a...
No.
Israel has released their first statement since President Trump said that he's cutting ties with Netanyahu. Today,
Yes, ito. Kulo ka video, kulo ko sa sawan. Amerika sa pero kumandag no sa edu. Kaya sa ito na pa on men sa lag isa piyebig des mashuwa fasi yung. Isa bito no anade kondre e shi Israel wa fasi. And ultimately do shi America as fast one Israel na America na inassembly de may sendi. Isa bito. That the people sabi. And uno de Trump na American faithful. Wa kotik mo to sa ni Israel. Di mana do no din no kontang na abno sot for bending na Israel man di mana ko ina sulubo. Wala sa fata ang ate kundi o si Amerika na nga Israel. Tapos yung pakina and that demado wani. Ku arkatori sa persis.
Israel has released their first statement since President Trump said that he's cutting ties with Netanyahu. Today, Trump announced that Israel's interests will no longer come into effect when the U.S. makes peace deals in the Middle East, specifically citing the Saudi and Iranian deals that the U.S. are very close to achieving. Israel then fired back, saying that Israel can defend herself alone, and that they don't need the U.S.'s help, and that they can take care of themselves in the Middle East. The Jerusalem Post came out today with a bombshell report that Trump and Netanyahu have cut all communications as the president has grown pissed, quote, at Netanyahu. This started 3 weeks ago whenever Israel wanted to
Kulo ko persis fa-start. Isabit, kulo ko fa-start o arkamabong.
pissed, quote, at Netanyahu. This started 3 weeks ago whenever Israel wanted to, instead of making a deal, strike Iran. That is whenever President Trump sent Steve Witkoff over there to get a deal done. That is when 1 week later, coincidentally, Netanyahu made a surprise visit to the White House. Leaked reports then came out that Israel was going to strike Iran without our permission, to which President Trump shot back saying that we are not going to be dragged into a war. Then today, the final straw for Israel was the U.S. making an oil deal with Saudi Arabia that wouldn't give any to Israel. Yes, a deal between us and Saudi Arabia. Israel wanted something.
Dus as nga start, doordat Trump want vandaag Israel make one deal na nga Iran. Fit no, may fictive silefi. De man make one deal. Isabi to, de man ko ang tafel. Da de man taki for stand des silefi. Isabi to, sik ano. So hawanat nyo dun. Isabi to, madat Israel number one. Israel number one strike ko hindi na hindi. De man be lost na burudo. And that Trump number one. Makalat neto niya free ko Amerika. Isabi to plot selling. Isabi to visit Trump dapat tak mo na just papapa. Toch baka di mati kagati. Dekati. Strike Iran toch. And tapi asan ko escalate. Doon di Amerika up next to the nga demon. Ye make this may show fasi to. Ye make this may show fasi. Mal ultimately toch Israel o har Amerika gawin na surubu. Want that na prophecy. Toch Israel o har den gawin na surubu. Isabi to. Toch de mo har den go. And that na prophecy. Want this must fulfill. They must expose. I heard grunda po mo shifa de wed mande. That Mickey. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 13, verse 26. Therefore I will discover thy skirt upon thy face, that thy shame may appear. Policy na NLT. This book of Jeremiah, chapter 13, verse 26 in the NLT. I myself will strip you and expose you to shame. Mori ko expose Amerikang. Isabit, natin wait ma fatal lang. Isabit, fadema lala, fadema toti, fadema urit. Isabit, kumayo expose dema dyan ni mensa sa on mensa lang. Isabit, talagang likwan tibli de mayro ko na katihimit kataki kiris ma ko kredi. Yesud ko normal ko de man burgers. Yesud de ma panya nga $22 raket. And fully tra ko de wagama kan na fuja dresi na nganyang. Ano weapon? Ano weapon for feedback ka? Dressing na nga niya for this man did it. Tayo na wani. Tayo na tibri. Tayo na tibri. And that must gebeuren wat de man must expose. Maar onelijk bring wa voor siya sa disi umbriti. Letterlijk de province lolo opo let feso ay. Letterlijk amo yung expose Amerika. Fusa de man din. On men sila hisa de man api. Amo yung exposing. Isabito. Amo yung expose de man for the devil they are. Isabito. Maar meu pala sa this edify uno. This be the war update Isabito. This be the war update for Israel, Iran, Amerika, and North Korea. Isabito. Meu pala sa this edify uno meu baguon mo no understanding and meu about uno khuluf up. Nakiala presa nga kanang baka na mo yan sa ikar ka na mawera ka lang kanay fugado. Na yahaw ina anef we buwis sa karises Kristus mawera ka lang kanay apoy fugado. Na yahaw shy. I want to give all praises and honors to Yahweh Hashem, Yahushai Hashem, Chachwan Shalamat. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Green Millstone, men are worthy of the double honors and much love and salutations. Unto the whole vlog, Akyam Hotel, the teachings, word, and truth, and sincerity. Shalom. This been the war update.